Hey yo, what the fuck going on, man? Got another banger. Look, people don't want to be rich, they want to feel rich. And you can see it in people's behavior. People don't actually want the responsibility of more finances, they just want the things that money can buy. And you can see that in your everyday life. You can see it in the celebrity world, you can see it everywhere. Because if people actually wanted to be rich, wouldn't they talk about finances more? Like every stripper should be talking about interest rates and things like that, you know? And I just watch videos about people and they talk about how they want to be rich and they want more and they don't get enough and they deserve more, but they're not even trying to get in depth about everything that's required, everything that comes with it, having more. They say more money, more problems, and it's real. That's real talk. So I found this video with Latto where she's talking about she's doing an interview and she's talking about how having money is boring. What? Having money is boring. It's crazy because it's funny that she would say that because when you have more money, then you can afford more fun activities that the average person can't afford. So how is being rich boring? You should be able to do things that, the average person can't do. You can what you don't want to. That's another example. It's like people get rich and they have more options, but they still choose to do less. It's like, you know, it's inverted. The people who have less want to do more. The people who have more want to do less. I don't know. Is that true? Someone tell me in the comments. But yeah, here's the video.
Hell yeah, like, for sure. Nobody in my family went to college. Nobody in my family is a millionaire. Like, I really did that.
What does it feel like to be able to buy almost anything you want?
It's kind of boring. It's
Why?
kind of boring. For me, I was a millionaire at 21. So it's like you grow up fast already being in the industry at a young age. And then when you have a lot of money at a young age too, I think I get the most like fun spoiling everybody around me now. Like, I spend more money on other people than I do myself. I be so stingy with my money for myself. Like, I'll go into Chanel and be like, dang, I really like this bag, but nah. And then when it's my homegirl birthday, I go buy a bag like it's nothing. Like, it's boring. Money is not like, I don't think that's what everybody should be chasing.
What should
it's
people be
fun,
chasing?
don't get me wrong. True happiness. I think like we think because we don't have money, the average person don't have a lot of money. I think we chase it like, okay, I gotta get this money. Then when you get the money, it's like, damn, now what? You know, and I don't even have billions yet. You know.
Yeah, now what? I agree with what she said about chasing happiness instead of money, but first one, then the other. I mean, yeah, you can get things to make you happy through money, and also you can find happiness through the activity of chasing money because there's so many ways to do it. There's so many activities that you could be involved in, not just sports, music, and movies or acting. There's so many different things that you could do with funds that you could fund and that you could support. So when she's talking about being bored with money, I don't relate to that at all. And it seems like to me, in my experience, I don't know about you, but it seems like women talk about being bored way more than men. It's crazy. Like I could just come up with so many ideas if I was rich. You could go in a lab and clone a dinosaur or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You could do crazy stuff if you're rich. But if you're I guess if that type of thing doesn't excite you or you don't have much of an imagination, which I don't, I I wouldn't assume that if you're a rapper, like you got to be creative. So if you're creative in the booth, why not be creative in your life with money? And who knows? Maybe she's not even being honest. Maybe she just wants to downplay that she has money because a lot of her viewership probably doesn't. Okay, that's one scenario. That's probably possible, but yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people like Warren Buffett. He talked about how he wants to he if he could he would go back and do it all over again. If you don't know who Warren Buffett is, he's one of the wealthiest people in the world. If you've never heard of him, look it up, um, or not. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is it's about the journey, not all about the destination. And what I mean by that is pursuing money, how you do it, the obstacles you overcome is actually where the real value is. So, understanding that, then you could understand how someone who actually cares about money could never be bored of it because whatever you did to get it, you could reinvest back into whatever made you enthusiastic. So I don't relate to what she's saying at all. Like I said before, I agree with pursuing happiness more than money, but it just goes to show you that people aren't actually interested in the activity of money. They just want the things that money can buy. So why not just cut out the middleman? You have the person, then you have money, and then you have the things that money could buy. So if you cut out the middleman, which is money, then you go straight to the source. Like, let's say you wanted a Rolls Royce. There's you, there's the money, there's the Rolls Royce. Why not just, I don't know, be an intern at the Rolls Royce company and somehow build connections to what, test drive them or something? I don't know. That's probably a bad idea, but does anyone understand that type of logic? Like, if you're not actually interested in finance, then why be obsessed with money? Or you should be interested in finance so that you can have a better chance of, generating more of it and maintaining it by having a better understanding. And people don't actually want to be rich, they just want to feel rich. And you can see that in people who wear their money instead of care about their money. Like, another example is you could think about money like playing cards, like, or like collector's cards, like people who collect baseball cards or Pokemon cards or NBA cards. If you have something that's valuable, well, why would you trade it? You'd be thinking about how to keep it as much as you can, because the more money you give away, the less that you have. So you just want to collect more than you give away, and then you want to think about how to keep it as much as you can. Like, I remember hearing a line from Jay Z. I forgot the song, but he says something like, "I'm still spending money from '88." So he just collected his money and he kept it. He wasn't in a rush to spend it because that's how much he cares about money. He's thinking about how to keep as much of it as he can. And I've heard celebrities talk about how when they become famous, they don't have to buy anything because they have so much influence that companies want to have them be a part of their brand or promote their brand. So they just give celebrities or rich people stuff for free. Just so if they use it, it's almost like free advertising. Like in the movie Funny People with Adam Sandler, he was showing some writer his garage full of stuff that a company gave to him for free. So, that's just one idea of how to keep as much of your money as you can. This one time, I went to get my hair cut, and at the barber shop, there was another person who just got he just got he finished getting his hair cut before me, and I guess he handed the barber $100 bill or a $20 bill, and I think he tipped him that much. He just gave him $100 for the haircut. I don't think it was that much. It was probably, I don't know, 30 or $40, but he was talking about how old the bill was, and he was saying, he probably got that, and it was an old $100 bill, and he probably got that in the '70s or the '80s or whatever. But there are people who get their money, and they keep their money because they actually care about money. And someone who actually wanted to be rich would have that same mentality. But you have people who, they don't want to be rich, they want to feel rich. So they're just addicted to a feeling, not the status that comes with money or the responsibility or the problems. And, it's an activity. Like, people look at these different paths that you can take, these different pursuits, like, buying bonds, investing in racehorses, in like breeding dogs and breeding horses, and all of these ways that you can get money and then turn it into more money. What property, artwork, all of these examples. So, you know, I see it in my everyday life. Like, people at my job, they'll complain about money, but every time I turn around, that they're not talking about how to save it and what's coming in the future. You hear people talk about CBDBs, uh, di- digital currency, and the threat to fiat currency or paper currency, and you know it, the people who complain about money are not talking about that. They're not talking about all of these ways to get loans and you know work on their credit, getting a higher credit score. This is what people should be talking about, not drama, not just nonsense that's not going to help them. And people just need to really take an interest in the things that affect their life directly, and they should really be interested in money as an activity, not just the way money makes you feel. Even though it's not bad to pursue happiness through money, but you know, separating business from pleasure and all that. So, if you have an idea about what you think about uh, rich people saying that they're bored, let me know in the comments. If you have any examples of that you've seen in your life, and like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.